Ooh, cool. All right, so that's the title of my presentation. My name is Marilenis Lee, and that's my Twitter account right here. So I'm from Venezuela, South America. So what I want to do is basically talk about the different issues women face in technology when you're from another country, when you're a mom, etc. Different things. So this is what I do right now. I'm actually a mom, housewife. I volunteer at my son's school. Those are my degrees. I collected them, and I'm not doing anything with them. And I'm teaching right now. I'm at adjunct faculty. I teach web development and Python. Okay? So this is all part-time. I mean, I'm a full-time mom. And then everything else is just, doesn't matter. Yeah. But then sometimes I have to grade 60 projects on a weekend. So this is, I want to give you a little overview of where I'm coming from so you understand how challenging it is when you get here. So I was born there. That's a tiny peninsula in South America. That's the northest point of South America, 27 kilometers from Aruba. So you can actually swim from where I was born to Aruba. Pretty nice, right? So Aruba is this big, my town is this big. So 270,000 people. And the reason it exists is because it has the world's largest oil refinery complex. So it has two pretty large refineries. My dad and mom didn't go to school. Dad worked at the refinery for 35 years. So, and he raised 3 engineers. I mean, no, 2 engineers and 1 doctor. My sister is a vet, so she's a teacher too. And then I went to Caracas, big city. I had never been out of the house by myself, never took a bus. My mom drove me everywhere. I didn't know how to cook. So they say you have to be an engineer. I applied for the school. I got into it because I was really good at math. So I passed the exam, and I got there, and I had to take a bus to go to school. So that was pretty hard. No, seriously. Caracas is, you from Brazil? Okay, Caracas is like New York, right? So I have to step out of the house and take a bus. So I was like, I don't get raped or anything or robbed or something. But so, and then from there, I became an engineer. I really liked computer graphics, and I worked on it. And when I became an engineer, I graduated. I had jobs. I went back to school. I got my master's degree. I worked with this really super person that was like my hero. But through all this, I experienced what every woman experiences, mansplaining, imposter syndrome, and sexual harassment, which is pretty common in our countries, right? You call it here catcallers? Yeah, that's it. That's like, ew. So I was pretty brave. I would walk the streets of Caracas, and if someone whistled at me, I would get so mad. I would just like, you rah! They were like, okay, take it easy. And I'm like, no, you don't do that. I would get so like, it wasn't good because I could be killed, but I didn't care. I just did it. And then through this passion, I discovered SIGGRAPH, which is, you guys probably know about it. It's the largest conference in computer graphics. It's 20 to 50K attendees per year. That's pretty big. So I'm working in Venezuela. I had just through 3 years after I graduated from college. And a friend of mine tells me, have you ever been to SIGGRAPH? I'm coding computer graphics and stuff. And he's like, I'm like, no, what is that? Oh, he starts talking about it. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go. How do I get in? He tells me all the information. I signed up for it. I had never been to the US. I took a flight to Orlando. When I get to Orlando, I take a cab to the hotel. My hotel had been canceled. I'm like, okay. So it's so bad in Venezuela. You guys know right now, it's pretty bad. So it was bad before too. For some reason, I didn't have a credit card. My credit card didn't work, so I had cash. Right? okay, so I'm like, okay, someone has to help me. So I go to the conference and I get there and I register or I get my paperwork. And just out of luck, behind the counter, there is this guy speaking Spanish. And I'm like, hey, can you help me? And he's like, sure. So he starts speaking Spanish. He's like, oh, there's a big crew from Venezuela here. The big crew is from the oil industry. They have money. They can pay to go. They'll probably be able to help you. I can help you, whatever. So I don't know how I got the hotel, but I got a hotel. And then this is how it all started. So I went there first time, 1995, and I became a volunteer right there. I was so excited. You can imagine someone who doesn't speak English that well. I speak better right now. And I'm like, this is so cool. I mean, there were 40,000 people. At that 1995, there was a cave. I don't know if you guys ever seen a cave. A cave is a big dome where they project stuff. It's like a virtual reality installation, right? There was a cave, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? So coming from this town, and I'm like, I was so like crazy. Well, the woman who coded the cave is from Venezuela. So I got lucky again, right? So I got to meet her, and we speak Spanish, and we're like, I'm all like, oh, I got to do this. I got to become a volunteer. So I did. So I got in touch with her. She became kind of a mentor. And I signed up to be I didn't sign up. I applied to become a student volunteer. That's in the next one. Yeah, applied to become a student volunteer. I started in 1996, and I was a volunteer for many years. And then out of all this work, there was 1 year, so how many years are there? 1995, 2000, 6 years. One of the years I was living in Venezuela, and then I was teaching computer graphics, and I tell my students about SIGGRAPH, and then they get all excited. So I start bringing students. So I bring like 7 students first, then I bring 10, then I bring 50. So 50 means like there's a lot of people from Venezuela, like you can see them, right? They didn't speak Spanish very well, but we were there, so helping out as student volunteers. So that led to me becoming the chair of the International Relations Committee, which was pretty big for me, for anyone. And 2 years of preparations, a lot of traveling. I moved to the US to get another degree. And one of the things I experienced there was sexual harassment. It was pretty bad by one of the committee members, another guy that was working with me. It was so bad that I had to, the year of the conference, I had to have a bodyguard with me. Yeah, so there was a police report, everything. It was like, whatever. But I mean, it's been a long time, but it was pretty bad. So I almost dropped out, or I could have made him drop out, but I didn't because I was nice. But I could have. I should have. So this is like kind of the title of my presentation is about victories and struggles. It's for me, this is a pretty big thing, which led to me moving to the US. So these are my tips for success, which is, did I skip one? No. Yeah, so don't be afraid to ask for help. So follow your passion and be bold. Like this is pretty bold, right? This color, so we are both pretty bold. But no, what I say here is like, if you want to do something, really like, I grabbed this woman from Venezuela who made a cave, and I just like say hello every day. I email her when I go back from Venezuela. I'm like, I want to be in the committee. I want to be a student volunteer. And she started like, replying, and she was good. Follow your passion. I like computer graphics, so that led me to move here and be bold. Yeah, just go for it. I didn't speak English very well. I mean, I didn't, so I just like, I'm gonna go, I don't know. So came here, and then here, again, I was so naive. I didn't know. I thought everything was gonna be beautiful, butterflies and San Francisco and everything, but yeah, it's pretty hard. Again, this was pretty bad. Like my classmates mocking me, I didn't like that. That felt pretty bad, but I was like, I thought I was supposed to I thought that was supposed to be the way to be. I mean, that is supposed to be that way. I'm like, I can't do anything about it. Now I know I could, but I didn't know then, right? But 2001, 1999.
I have news for you. It's 2017. I have been here 42 years. I have my funny accent. I still get mocked for it. That's okay. I like it.
Yeah, when you just get here and you think everything is gonna be pretty, it's pretty. No, but no, yeah, me too. I mean, yeah. So in this part here, I really wanted to do art and technology, mix those two, and I got to do that in the master's. I was really passionate about Adobe Flash at that time, if you guys remember. I like to make animations and create interactive things. And I talked to my professor, my advisor, and I was so excited. Man, I really want to have an internship. And he's like, where do you want to go? I say, Macromedia. Be bold, right? I want to go to Macromedia. They make Flash, and I like Flash. And he's like, okay, Macromedia. I have a friend there. I'm like, you do? He's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in touch. She's going to give you an internship, whatever. That's no-brainer. And it happened. And I show up to Macromedia one day to meet this person. She became my mentor and had coffee. My English was pretty bad, all that stuff. But then I sat there with the engineers and I did it. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. And I'm reflecting on this right now, but I didn't feel that it was a big deal when I did it. I wasn't afraid, maybe because I was young or younger. Then I graduated. And then what happened when I graduated? It was 2001. The dot-com crash. I graduated in June, and I called my friend from Macromedia. She had promised me a job. She was my mentor, and I called her. I graduated. You need to come to see my project. She came. We talked. She's like, I'm going to get you a job. It's going to be good. I called her a month later. She was laid off. She's like, well, I just got laid off. What? No, you're my only hope. I don't know anyone here. She's like, I'll get you a job. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get a job. You're going to get a job. Okay? Okay, you do it. You won't get a job. So I sent her. And then when she gets a job, so she gets a job at Leapfrog. She had a lead. She gets a job. She becomes the director of the developers studio was called. So she's the director of all the developers. She's like, I'm going to get you hired. There's no way. So we go back and forth. I go to interviews. First interview I had was for a production job. The guy said I was too artistic. Then I go for a technical job. The guy said I was overqualified. And I was like, okay. So, and she's like, you know what? She's overqualified, but you're hiring her because I'm telling you. So they hired me, and I was on a practical training thing, so I didn't need a visa. But then a year later, I needed a visa. And what happened in September of 2001? 9/11. So it was like bad. But they got me the H-1B. I was getting paid really little, just a little bit. But I was here, and I was determined because in Venezuela, Chavez was already there, and my brother had lost his job. Everyone was losing their jobs, and my dad was like, you're not coming back here. You can't. There's no way. There's no future for you. You have to stay. Do whatever you can, just stay. I said, okay, I'll stay. Okay. So I stayed. I paid $80,000 to get a waiver on my visa to stay here, to be able to go from a student visa. I had to solve all these issues, but it cost me $80,000. How did I make that money? I don't know. I got credit cards, 0%. I went to the bank and said, can you give me 10,000? Sure. 10,000. I got 10. I got 50. And then I made, and then I repay it. But I wish I had those 80,000 right now. Yeah. But then the best thing happened, right? I get laid off, of course. So Leapfrog is really good. I think I was the 150th employee. 3 years later, they go public. We were 1,500 people. And right when they got public, there was a problem with the shelving at Toys R Us. And they laid off a bunch of people because of that. The toys didn't arrive on time because of customs for Christmas. they didn't make any money, or they didn't make enough, the money they had to make. So we got laid off. And I'm like, what is this? I didn't know, right? I don't know what a laid off is. I've never been laid off. I don't know what being fired is. I don't know. But yeah, this is exactly like that, right? I sat there, like, so today's your last job. I'm like, what? For what? What are you talking about? So I start crying. Someone sees me crying in the office. I'm like crying, picking up stuff. This guy who was a lawyer, that it's all luck. So he's a lawyer, and he's like, what happened? I don't know, I don't have a job. It's just, I gotta go back to Venezuela. I don't know what to do. And he's like, no, you're not going back. I'm gonna get you a job. I'm like, no, you can't. You're a lawyer. And he's like, come to my office. So I go with him, and he's like, here it is, she called HR. Who is the lawyer for the company? So and so. He picks up the phone, calls the guy. How do I transfer this visa? The guy said, you need $10,000. Okay, I got it. What do I do? You need to have a company to hire her. And then he picks up the other phone, calls his friend, his best friend. Hey, you need to hire my friend. What? Yeah, she has to go back to Venezuela. She can't go back. She's pretty good. But it was a one-person company, right? She had registered a company. So it happened. I was working for a company. So we worked together. I worked with her for a while. She had the transfer, and she would call me every month. Do you get a job yet? Because I'm afraid I'm going to go to jail. She was so afraid. I'm like, I almost have a job at Stanford. It took them like 4 months to hire me. Again, someone I met at SIGGRAPH got me a job through a friend of a friend, at Stanford. Again, I asked her, I called her every day, I need a job, I'm gonna have to go back to Venezuela, blah, blah, blah. So she made it happen. I mean, she didn't make it happen. I had to go to interviews, etc. But it happened. And I was pretty happy. Again, I get hired there. Very little salary. I'm already been here for so many years. I'm in debt. Okay, but I have a job. I don't have to go back to Venezuela. Well, Stanford was pretty good at racial discrimination. Pretty big. Yeah. Mansplaining, stereotyping. My manager always took credit for my work. And it was a woman. It wasn't even a man. And then told that, and it's pretty bad, but I had to do it because it was really hard to get a visa transfer. And then, again, those are the tips. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I kept asking my friends, get me a visa. I don't want to go back. Get me a job. Get me a visa. Because I couldn't do it by myself. I didn't know anyone. I mean, I just knew like 3 people. And, so nothing is impossible. Honestly, I prayed a lot. I went to church like every Sunday. Please. And then I kept trying. And the Stanford job was really good, except that it had all that social thing going on. And then I got married. This is my son. He's 6.5. And he keeps me pretty busy. Since I don't have any family here, I decided to stay at home, and because when we did the math, by the time I get a job and I pay the nanny and the cleaner and the cook and whomever, all that bunch of people and parking and commute and pay for food, then my husband's like, I think it's cheaper if you stay home. We're gonna save money. So I stayed home, did nothing for 1 year, and then I applied for a job teaching. I'm like, maybe I'll get a job teaching and I can work like 2 hours a week. And I did. I started working like 2 hours a week, literally. Now I teach a lot, and hopefully my idea is to transition back into a full-time job. Hasn't happened yet. And so in general, and I like this, pretty cool. So this is in German, same thing Karen was talking about. I'm actually, this is kind of you call that collective wisdom? I'm on a Slack group with women in tech, and there's a lot of conversation there, pretty good. So it happens to all of us. I imagine it happened to men too. I'm not a man, but I imagine it happened to men too. Mansplaining and sexual harassment, it happened to a lot of women in this Slack. So they also say it's harder to get a promotion than The male coworkers, some people work on a promotion document for a whole year and they don't get promoted. And they work again the next year, they don't get promoted. Well, there's a lot of data on that, lower salary. And I don't like this, but I put it there. A woman biological fit to do technical work from the Google guy. Yeah, poor guy, I don't like him. Really don't. I don't know, he's bad. And then I think he probably has some problem. Yeah, and this is, yeah, the moms, I mean, this is what we do, right? Get up at 6, make the lunch, throw the kid at school, just kick them out of the car, and then go to work, go back, pick them up, cook, take them to karate, take them to gymnastics, go to the pool. But I mean, I enjoy it, so I don't really care. And this is a quote from Tina Lee. She's the founder of Mother Coders. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. You can read it. Basically, she talks about how hard it is for moms. She has a little startup, a nonprofit, and she teaches moms to code. So she talks about sexism, racism, age, the age thing, which is also another problem. And motherhood penalty. Oh yeah, that we are perceived as being less competent and committed to our careers because we have to pick up the kids from school or something if they get sick. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to talk about. I'm done. Thank you so much for letting me be here, and I appreciate you guys.